Why, hello, ladies and gents. I'm just here, not actually reading The Killing Joke and drinking milk. Dairy milk, by the way, for those of you who think that milking cows is bad for them. As if, because, it's what they were made for. It's what they were made to do, to produce milk. Drink the milk. It's not bad for you. It's probably fairly good for you. And it's delicious. But ladies and gents, today we're going to talk about The Joker, which I saw last night at my local Cinemark theater with some really good friends. Fantastic experience mostly. Let me talk about that a little bit first. So, one of my best friends, me and my wife, are currently watching the Shane Dawson documentary series on the makeup industry, the beauty industry, whatever. And, it's possibly the gayest thing that I'm doing right now. But at the same time, it's also something that I find kind of interesting. I think Shane Dawson's an interesting guy. I admire him as an editor and somewhat as a filmmaker in terms of just what he does just here on YouTube. So we were doing that, and we thought he might post today, because he posted his first video in this series. Excuse me, guys. Last week on YouTube. So he posted on Tuesday last week, and last night we were like, okay, he's gonna post. He didn't post, but some other buddies of mine were like, hey, do you want to get together and go watch Joker tonight at 7:45? And I said yes, because as much as I'm interested in the makeup world of Jeffree Star and what's his name, Shane Dawson, and all this different crazy stuff, I'm probably more interested in a different character with makeup on, and that, of course, is the Joker. And we go over there. I'm a little bit late. I'm running late. We get to Cinemark, and I walk in, and there's either the line for the cashier or there's the line for the kiosk. And the kiosk is just a big crazy thing because, now you have to reserve your seats ahead of time and stuff like that. And so I was there and I was trying to find enough seats for everybody and stuff like that. But I ended up getting one. We ended up being able to sit together, but it's a real pain in the neck doing the kiosk thing now. But I'm still going to do it because it gets me through the line faster. And it got me into the theater faster. In terms of trailers, most of the trailers don't look that great. I mean, there's a couple. The thing that sticks out in my mind most, and I don't remember the title of this movie, but it's an Adam Sandler crime drama. I don't know if it's actually going to be a comedy or what's going to be going on, but I just remember Adam Sandler looking like a ghetto Jew, and that's pretty much it. In terms of the movie, now, I was a little bit afraid going in here because I'd heard the thing that the media had been talking about. There's going to be shootings at this movie because white supremacy or something like that. Well, I think that's stupid. I didn't really believe it, but there was that little bit of me that was like, oh my gosh, maybe. And in fact, at one point in the theater while we're watching the movie, you know how in a theater you'll have usually one or two exits. I mean, you'll have the entrance you walk in that's kind of like more, normal kind of entrance thing, and then you've got an exit to the outside, or maybe an exit to the hall that's kind of like a back way exit. Well, somebody outside had started yelling and pounding on the door of the theater that was like the exit to the outside. So somebody outside had been willing to come up and just bang on there just to ruin people's movie experience. Now, in some ways I kind of liked it because it kind of gave me that weird shock, like, oh my gosh, am I going to die? And I started planning, okay, what am I going to do? Somebody comes in here with a gun, what's the number one thing I'm going to do? I'm probably going to dive under the seat in front of me, or maybe I'm going to rush the shooter, I don't know. But I've got all these things going around in my mind, and then, of course, I just get re-sucked back into the movie. And it was at a fairly tense moment in the movie. Actually, this movie doesn't have anything except tense moments. There's nothing in this movie that's not just like, oh, this is really comfortable and happy and wonderful and nice. No, nothing is wonderful and happy and nice. Everything is either cringy, or it's sad, or it's tense, or you're a little bit terrified because this guy's really, really crazy. It's a really good movie, guys. Really fantastic movie. Todd Phillips. I don't know a lot about the guy. I know basically all he's done is a couple documentaries, 2 or 3, maybe 4 documentaries, and comedies. But he must be the biggest Martin Scorsese fan in the world, because this looks like Taxi Driver. It looks like Martin Scorsese movies from the mid to late 70s and early 80s. It looks exactly like Taxi Driver and, maybe a color version of Raging Bull and stuff like that. It's so cool the way this movie looks. Whoever the cinematographer is, fantastic job. Technical aspects all around. Really good writing and editing and cinematography. Camera work is just perfect. The directing style is so oppressive. And it's something that is going to stick with me for a while now. I'm going to have to go back and watch it again, but this might be my favorite DC movie, period. I personally, I like The Dark Knight and all, but I'm a bigger fan of Batman Begins. I think Batman Begins overall is probably the best Batman movie ever made. That first Chris Nolan movie, just love it. However, this really gives Batman Begins a run for its money because it's kind of the opposite of Batman Begins. Because you're seeing the beginning of this character, this crazy character. And a lot is being said about Joaquin Phoenix's performance. And let me tell you, the hype is 100% right on. I mean, you have to watch this movie. Go to the theaters, whatever you can do. Like, if you have to beg and borrow, I won't tell you to steal, but if you have to beg and borrow to go to this movie, go. Alright? Because if you're just looking for an Oscar-caliber performance that you know is probably never going to win an Oscar just because of stupid Hollywood politics, go see this movie. A performance that is, I don't like to use the term brave for actors and stuff. It's not like they're rushing into fire like, firemen or people that are part of the police force or in the military. Not like that. It's not at all like that. One of the closest performances to being legitimately brave, this performance. Because he dares to be both sympathetic and manipulative and evil and entirely a sad, tragic character and a funny character and a really cringy character, all at the same time. It's brave in the sense that you don't know if it's going to play. I don't know if Joaquin Phoenix knew that this character was going to play. I feel like he and Todd Phillips were kind of both like, hope this works. Might not, but I really hope it works. It works. It's the perfect image of, sort of Travis Bickle as the Joker. And let me warn you right now, it's not the typical Joker stuff. There's some stuff that is more Joker beneath the surface. If you're just looking at this movie on the surface, like if it's if you believe that everything on screen is the truth, and you believe that everything that's going on in the movie is actually going on within that world, then yeah, it's not very Jokery. But if you look at it as a document in this enormous tapestry that is Joker, a small piece of that tapestry, it makes so much sense. Maybe even the fringe on the top of the tapestry. At the very top is this movie. And the reason I say that is there's so much going on below the surface. So much knowledge that you probably need to have about the Joker to see past some of this stuff, that I don't know if every mainstream audience is going to get it, or every mainstream audience might look at it and be like, that's pretty cool, and then just kind of move on. You know, especially if they're not that into comics. But people who are into comics, at least to a degree, that they know some stuff about Joker. They've read The Killing Joke. They've read maybe a couple other comics that are really specific and necessary to that character. You're probably going to love it, like I did. I haven't read a lot of Joker comics. I'm not a huge comic guy, but I know enough. I know a little bit of my stuff. And so I went into the movie thinking, okay, I'm going to look at this through the lens of I know who Joker is to a degree. Because I don't know if we can, any of us can really say who the Joker is. You know, he's a character that, like it says in The Killing Joke, he prefers his past to be multiple choice. And this movie is supposed to give us his past. Well, here's the thing. We get some of his past, but we're not sure if what the movie is telling us is true. There's stuff in the movie that makes you think, this is just one of the ideas that he's got floating around in his head. There's definitely some stuff around the ending of the movie that make you really think that. I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's definitely some stuff that you might want to... If you've read some Joker stuff, you might think of specific things about this movie. Let's just say that. But this is sort of a mix of all these different Joker traits imposed onto this character that's very much a victim, and then isn't a victim at the same time. So here's the thing. Here's my sort of analysis of the Joker. And I know this video is going long, but it should go long. This is a fairly complex movie. It's got a really good rating on IMDb. It's got a lot of hype. A lot of people are talking about it. I want to talk about it. I don't want to just review it. I want to talk about this movie. And I want you guys, if you disagree with me or if you have any other perspectives on this, put it down in the comments. Please speak to me. I want to know. I want to keep talking about movies. Like I was saying, like not many people just talk about movies anymore, you know. I hung out with my friends afterwards and talked about movies. But let's go ahead and do my analysis of this movie. So he starts out kind of as a victim. He doesn't really know where he comes from, or he thinks he knows where he comes from, and his mom's got these specific ideas of who he is and who she is. She may be crazy, she may be not. We'll get that's gotten into later in the movie. You've got all that going on. And so he's kind of a victim. But there's a lot of stuff in here that he totally, I think, manufactures. And he doesn't know he's manufacturing it yet. But he is manipulative, and he is, manufacturing a lot of his own personality. So he's a weird guy, super skinny, very malnourished, gets beat up a lot, gets bullied a lot, abused a bunch. But here's the other thing. Joker is making a lot of this stuff up. He's looking for an excuse to do violence. I can tell you why. And, you know, this is gonna go into minor spoilers. I'll put that in the title, you know, minor spoilers or something like that. The Joker is clearly looking to be violent. And the reason I think that is he's putting himself in dangerous situations. And he's got this card that he gives to people that says, I have a condition that forces me to laugh when I'm under stress, or when there are inappropriate moments to laugh, I might laugh. He hands this out to people just to kind of be self-explanatory. But I think those are his cards. I think he made those up. I don't think it's an actual mental illness. And there's even some talk in it that might prove that near the ending. So you've got that going on. He's clearly actually laughing. For a while I thought, okay, he might be laughing because it's his only way to keep himself from crying. I definitely think that's an aspect. He's also clearly got mental illness, so that's an aspect, but it's not the whole thing. He wants to laugh at the same time. He does want to bring joy to the world and bring laughter to the world in the most evil, maniacal way. He's going to start an uprising, but not because he's a political leader. Rather because he realizes in his own mind that the world is chaos, and he wants to be part of the world. And if he's going to be part of the world, he's got to create the chaos. He's going to be the orchestrator of chaos. I mean, he's the clown prince of crime, the prince of mayhem. He's absolutely that character in this movie, but he makes you think he's not. When he kills people, okay, the first time he kills some people, he kills several people with a gun. The first time that he does that, you're kind of thinking, oh, he's going to have just a sickening reaction. He's going to go to the bathroom. He's going to throw up. Well, he does run away after he finishes killing these people. But he does kill them in cold blood. So you're thinking, something's going on here. He does run away, and he's looking behind him. He's paranoid. He gets into a bathroom. You're thinking he's going to throw up. He's going to cry. He's going to laugh, cry the whole time. No, he dances. Instead of crying, instead of puking, instead of having these really, really violent reactions to his own violence, sort of self-violent, he dances. So he's enjoying it. We know he's enjoying it. And we know, in my opinion, from that instance, we know that he's not just doing this because it just kind of happened or he got in a bad situation and he had to do it or something. He's looking for these situations to kill people. He's still a mastermind. He's not a fully realized mastermind yet, but he is one. And he's getting to be there. After that, we also have a lot of this stuff going on that makes us think what we're seeing on screen is not real. The first instance of this is him being at this talk show. He's in the audience, and he gets brought up, and people cheer him, and he gets to hug the talk show host, and the talk show host says, "I wish I had a son like you," and stuff like that. And then that's not real. Clearly it's not real, which is sad, sure. That's also a cringy moment, by the way, but it's really sad. And then you realize, I can't trust the filmmaker, I can't trust Joker as a narrator, he's an unreliable narrator, so I can't trust virtually anything I see on screen except the evil parts, because that's the only thing this movie is going to be completely honest to me about, the evil parts. So when he starts to do something good, I'm thinking, this isn't real. Or if he does something sort of in the middle, this is either real or it might not be real. There's several different things about that. He's also called by different names. He wants to be called the Joker near the end of the movie. He wants to be called the Joker. His name is Arthur Fleck. We don't know what his real last name is, possibly for some specific reasons. But his name's Arthur Fleck. That may not be his real name. His mom calls him Happy. All these different names. My past is multiple choice. We don't really still know who the Joker is. So we have had an origin story that only gives us a possible origin. We're not sure if this is still his origin. Clearly not. And it plays with time, and it plays with the space in which this movie is made. I can't say enough good things about this movie. Now, if I'm going to really quickly wrap up, I'm going to say a couple negative things and then go back to one more positive. So, it doesn't really stand alone as a thriller or a crime thriller. It has to build itself upon, like I said, this tapestry of pop art that is Joker. You have to know something about Joker. You have to know who Joker is. That's the difference between this movie and like Taxi Driver. Taxi Driver, you don't have to know who Travis Bickle is. Once he's on screen, you know who he is. You discover throughout the movie who he is. But we know who the Joker is before this movie, so it's specifically sort of playing on that. It's sort of a postmodern thing, but it's also somewhat of a weakness. There are some scenes in here that I liked in the theater, but looking back on them, maybe not so great. For instance, he meets Bruce Wayne, he meets Alfred, and they just sort of had to force in the fact that he has some type of relationship with Bruce Wayne and with the Wayne family. He's got some type of relationship with all these people. Thank God they didn't name-check Alfred. I mean, the character is clearly Alfred when he's there, but they don't name-check him. They name-check every other member of the Wayne family. You got Bruce, who says, "Hi, I'm Bruce." He slides down a pole, much like 60s Batman. You've got Thomas Wayne as a major character in this movie. And you have Martha Wayne just sort of in there as well. Overall, this is a movie populated by great performances, not just Joaquin Phoenix. There's several other actors and actresses in here that are fantastic. Robert De Niro is good as Murray. And the guy who plays Thomas Wayne, I'm not sure who it is, does a really good job. There's a lot of great performances here going on. Zazie Beetz is in this movie, and she's surprisingly good. Gotta say, 10 out of 10, fantastic movie. Not one of my favorite movies, not gonna break into that. And I may not even say 10 out of 10. I may say, let's say about 8.75, which is a really high one for me. I sort of midpoint at like 7. 8.75, maybe even to a 9, is really high for me. I think it's a fantastic movie. It's the best movie I've seen this year. I don't know if it's going to be bested. So I definitely recommend you go out and watch it. Enjoy yourselves. Don't be afraid. You're probably not going to get shot. It's just media silliness, fake news, ridiculous stuff. Thanks for watching the video. Rock on. If you're not subscribed, talk to you later. This has been another Resurrected Review. I'll be back with more later. Bye-bye.